Bula and good morning and welcome to Paradise here for the Fiji Pro, stop number 5 of the Samsung Galaxy Championship Tour. It is June 13th, now day 9 of the waiting period where it feels like we've been here forever. Remember when Joanne Defay won the contest? We're still here on this amazing island.
Was that last year?
Waiting to get round 3 back underway. Coming up on the show this morning on Dawn Patrol, we'll talk about how the world's best on Tavarua-Namotu stayed busy during almost a week straight of lay days. Also get an inside look and a tour of an island from Ronnie Blakey, who was staying at Tavarua to start, went over to Namotu, so he's getting the best of both worlds. We'll also look at a preview of round 3, focusing on the rivalry with Namotu and Tavarua to see who's going to end up on top and moving into round 4. An exciting show this morning. Good to see everybody out there. Joe Turpel alongside 89 world champ Martin Potter.
Morning, Joe.
Rosie Hodge came here back in 2003 to compete in the trials. Do you remember that like it was yesterday, Rosie?
I do. It was very scary.
She was ripping.
You were here too, Pod. It was scary. I was only pretty young and so intimidated by all the ladies and the waves, so it was a good learning curve.
It's so crazy because back when you had a lay day back then, no Instagram, no social media, and you had to fill in the time in different ways.
Yeah.
Now, these days, we kind of get an insight of what the world's best are up to because they're always posting photos. And is there a little Instagram war between the islands, Pots, and who's doing the best job, do you think?
I'm not sure whether it's an Instagram war, but I tell you what, there's definitely a haircut war, that's for sure. I mean, I think Namotu is winning that race at the moment, but Instagram obviously is it's one of those things where we get to keep in touch with the world's best, right?
That's right. Jordy Smith, a resident of Tavarua, bringing his beautiful wife Lyndall here and just enjoying almost like another honeymoon. Connor Coffin, also on Tavi. He's like a boatman, Rosie. He's always out there catching fish, having a blast.
Yeah, they came back yesterday with massive Spanish mackerel, so feeding my island, so thank you, boys.
Yep.
A couple great posts for Tavarua. Now we're going to Namotu side. Lay day activities. They've been catching some of the biggest fish of the season over there.
Well, apparently that was a record. I mean, I haven't really been keeping score on the size of fish, but that looks to me like definitely one of the records for sure. A huge fish there caught by Johnny Gannon, and yeah, keep him busy, obviously.
Johnny Gannon getting a Spanish mackerel over there from Namotu, and also getting rid of the gray hairs. Johnny Gannon back here to celebrate Taj's tour life, and he was such a big part of his corner in the last decade of his career. While also keeping them in check, Rosie. So they're having fun, but also back to the mats to do some yoga.
They haven't. It looks like they did yoga once. I mean, here on Tavarua, we've been doing yoga pretty much every day, Pots.
Katie has been absolutely schooling us for the yoga. I'd love to do the yoga challenge, by the way. There's only 3 of them. I mean, we have like 50 of us doing it.
I'm kind of feeling this rivalry already start. Even battling on the yoga mats. Who's getting more fit?
Getting intense.
On the lay days. Now let's get that official calls. We'll send it out to the channel with Strider Wazalewski and our commissioner, Kieran Farrell.
Thanks, Joe. Yep, out here with Kieran. Kieran's been out in the water getting wet. A couple of waves this morning, Kieran.
There is some little waves still left over. We saw that sort of small, long period swell come up a tiny bit over the weekend. It was a little shredded from the onshore wind and some wind swell in the mix, so it wasn't really good enough. And this morning again, super clean, beautiful morning, but not enough to get underway, so we'll be off for the day.
There you go, some more lay day fun here on Tavi. Back to you guys.
Our Commissioner Kieran Farrell just enjoying the morning conditions. You can see it's real beautiful out there, but still very small as we're still anticipating much bigger surf coming later in the waiting period. Always interesting when you get through the amount of lay days we've had so far. The cool part, the last couple of days have been surfable, Pots.
They have. I mean, we've been sort of, you know, talking to a lot of the boys. Wiggly, John's been out there pretty much every morning, but just not enough for a heat. You know, we need like proper surf. We need some good waves for these guys, so we're going to wait. There's definitely swell on the way, so let's just kick back.
Well, we have the Surfline guys here on hand on Tavarua as we think about the forecast. Rosie Hodge, take us through as a premium member.
Well, you see today or Wednesday is going to be a little bit jumbled up, but that swell is supposed to increase, so that's something that we're really looking forward to, and then hopefully it'll just sort itself out and get clean and shack.
Tube vision, that's what we're hoping for. You can see that likely swell for Friday, looking like it'll be double overhead plus. That's what Rosie's looking at for that big barrel contest that we're hoping for. We saw a lot of high performance conditions in the start. It seems like we almost deserve some really healthy conditions to close this thing out.
We have waited, Joe. Patience is a virtue, and I'll tell you what, that's exactly what we're going to do. I mean, look at the way it jumped through. I think we're going to probably have like a half day Wednesday, and then Thursday a full day Friday. We're going to finish this thing off. It's going to be pumping, light winds. I think we're going to be in for a real good finish to this event. We deserve it, though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like that plan, Potts, and hopefully it sticks to the forecast. Thanks so much for surf flying. Remember, once again, we're off for today, but we're expecting better conditions later on in the waiting period. Coming up next on Dawn Patrol, we're going to dive into the rivalry of the two islands, Tavarua-Namotu, and Namotu have taken the last couple of titles out here at the Fiji Pro.
When I push it up, you push it back. When I light it up, you light it out. When I make it fly, you shoot it down. And I said, please, please, can you cut it out? You got me rolling, baby. Yeah, you got me tumbling around. 'Cause you're the only one, baby, that keeps me hanging around and around and around. I'm your freak. I'm your freak. I'm your freak, baby. I'm your freak, baby. I'm your freak, baby. I'm your freak, baby, baby, You got me rolling. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You got me tumbling around. You're the only one, baby, that keeps me hanging around and around and around. I'm your freak. I'm your freak. You got me rolling. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You got me tumbling around.
Good morning and welcome back to Dawn Patrol as we take you through the Google map to see where we're positioned on the Earth here, looking at the Fijian Islands. You can see just a short flight off the coast of Australia to get here to Paradise. That's a beautiful heart-shaped island of Tavarua where many of the world's best stay. And then looking across the channel approximately 1.3 miles away off the top of my head, you can see Namotu, a lot smaller, and you see majority of the Aussies staying there over the years with two Brazilians, but they happen to be two Brazilian world champions in Gabriel Medina and Adriano de Souza. Once again, the contest at the moment is still waiting for better waves, but we still talk about this rivalry, which has kind of been really fun to look at over the years. Going back in history, you could see the Australian goofyfoots that stayed on Namotu really had a stranglehold on the wins here, Potts.
Yeah, it's kind of a rare thing, though, isn't it, Joe? I mean, when you look back at how many goofy-footers have won this event, it is definitely a rare occurrence. But if you talk to Kelly, there is no rivalry. He reckons that Tavarua literally own this event, and Namotu have got a lot of catching up to do. But we'll get into that, won't we?
I love the story of the rivalry. Looking on the Tavarua side, a couple of key names there. Slater, Irons taking it as past world champions. Also, Damien Hobgood was always so dangerous out here when it got really solid. Rosie?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you just think about Namotu's size too. There are fewer people can stay on that island, so the fact that they fought back with all those goofy foot wins is pretty impressive, but Tavarua is taking the lion's share.
A lot of really cool history just going back to last season. It was Owen Wright creating history with two perfect heats. He was unstoppable representing Namotu. Year before it was Gabriel Medina in more smaller high-performance conditions, and we're also reminded that Medina finaled here against Kelly when he was really, really a grommet in pretty big condition spots.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's, you know, we always thought that, you know, if the waves are smaller, a little bit more technical, then the goofy footers were sort of in with a shot. But Owen Wright proved that wrong, didn't he? I mean, that was big, wide open barrels and those two perfect heats. I mean, I'll never forget that.
The islands are both beautiful. They're both epic to stay. They've got great waves out in front, but we got a special tour of the island from our very own Ronnie Blakey to give us the inside scoop on what's happening on Namotu.
Hey, how's it going? Ronnie Blakey here, and I'm going to give you guys a tour of Namotu, also during the event, often referred to as Aussie Island. So come on in, I'll give you a rundown on Namotu. one of the coolest things about Namotu is definitely the collection of boards that have been donated by competitors of the past. Lee Durbidge, his board that got driven into the reef at restaurants, actually still has coral hanging out of it. We're at the fielding station with Benny Wilson, who's best fisherman in the islands, always gets the boys onto a couple of big ones. Look at the steaks off this thing. Healthy slabs of meat. Let's roll on through. Matt Wilkinson's in the house, the hardest training man on Namotu. Sava's one of the beautiful aunties here on Namotu.
Thank you.
Here's my roommate, Ed. Thankfully he's got a towel on this time. Here's a shot of what a lot of people have called the wave of the century. This is life as the commissioner of the WSL. This is Kieran Perrose. I think it's the only king-size bed on the island. Kieran's on fire. Best job in the world, I'm calling. Were you aware that Owen Wright was staying in that room last year?
Yeah.
Are you trying to carry a bit of that magic into this event?
Definitely.
All right, we're heading down to Wonga's Bar, and looks like Taj and Johnny have just come in from a bit of a surf.
This is what you call Wonga's Bar. This is where we spend the afternoon. The sunset's about there. So it's perfect setting for a little afternoon beer with the boys.
Wonga, he just keeps us all together and makes sure no one messes up. Wonga, any bad behaviour this year? Better not be, huh? The tour's over. Another lay day here in Paradise. A group of us are about to head over and have a big game of golf over on Plantation Island. And yeah, I'm late, so I've got to get going. Oh, the balls.
That one. Ronnie barely getting on the boat there. Thanks so much, Ron, for giving us a tour of Namotu. Ronnie was on Tavarua to start off the week with the best women surfers in the world, then hopped over there to that island to stay with which majority Aussies, but you could see a couple of Brazilian world champions. Pots, a lot's changed since you first set your sights on that island back in the 80s.
Yeah, I mean, it was a sand island with one palm tree, but it's an amazing place. I mean, you know, both these islands are absolutely beautiful, but I think we can call Ronnie a traitor.
Oh, right. The rivalry is already starting again.
It's on, Ronnie.
Rosie, you were out there surfing the other day, too. You love surfing that side?
I love Namotu, and some of the boys are out on kayaks having a good time, and we hope Ronnie's hoof gets better. Shame he's been hobbling along.
Yeah, well, it looks like we have Ronnie and Ross standing by. Ron, thanks for the tour, and I'm really happy that you still got your hair there. How'd you manage that?
I don't know. Friends in high places, but like Pot said, both islands are beautiful. There's not a bad choice, and as much as we talk up the rivalry, everyone over here has a good time. But I do have to make a bit of a correction. Mick Lowe was actually staying on Tavarua when he won, so that's one less victory for Namotu. So it's actually 8-4 to Tavarua. Sorry, Namotu. Hopefully, I can still get back on the island after the show.
That's why Ronnie gets paid the big bucks.
Hey,
My goodness.
got to stay true to the stats. Got to stay true to the stats. But it is fun over there, Ross, and it's a joy staying. Some of the stuff that you didn't see there is just like we've spoken about here on Tavarua. The snorkeling around the island is amazing. Paddle boarding, kite surfing if you're that way inclined. But Rosie, are you really hanging your hat on the fact that Tavarua is doing more yoga than Namotu?
Oh, guarantee. You should
surfers.
see how flexible Potts is right now. Downward dog for days.
Go, we'll take it back to you guys.
It's incredible. Looking forward to it. As you can see, Ronnie Blakey, Ross Williams are already looking at the matchup generator. That's coming up next, and diving more into the rivalry story. Not about yoga this time, about the performances in the water. We'll see you then.
When I push it
Welcome back to Paradise here for Dawn Patrol for the Fiji Pro. The contest is off, but we're just diving into the rivalry story of Namotu versus Tavarua. Joe Chappelle, Martin Potter, and Rosie Hodge. This is going to be a fun segment. We've got 3 people on the panel.
Yep.
We're going to agree with Ronnie or Ross in all these key heats as we break down some of the big matchups between the 2 islands. Ronnie, Ross, are you guys ready to go?
Ready to roll, but I'm not sure I like the judging panel. It's a complete Tavarua judging panel, so I hope that you guys can, put that aside and just go off what you hear in the debate.
Right. Unlike Ronnie, I have faith in my judges, and I believe they'll make the right choice.
Oh, wow.
So that being said,
Thank you,
here let's kick it off with Keanu Singh. Now, yes, he does have a pretty tough heat against former world champ Adriano de Souza, but hear me out here. Keanu Singh has been feisty. He's been walking around Tavarua Island with a lot of confidence, the most confidence I've seen him. He seems very comfortable in his own skin. I think he's really soaked in. He's had a lot of those bumps, getting all these losses in the last couple of years. But his first heat, Ronnie, that he took out in the first round here, he was going bananas. He threw a really big hook and got a solid barrel, got a 7.5. So I'm kind of liking his chances. I think he might get the win over Adriano. What do you think?
Look, I'm a huge fan of Keanu. I think he surfed well in the first round, had a buzzer beater moment like you said, but Adriano, like you heard in the tour of Namotu, is staying in Owen Wright's room. He had 2 perfect heats last year. Surely some of that magic's going to flow on. The other thing about Adriano, he's had a couple of quarters. He's semi-finaled here in the past. Keanu, on the other hand, hasn't made it past round 3.
Well, he did take out Wilco in the first round too, which is a Namotu boy. So he's
Good point, Ross.
Yeah, Wilco's still alive in the contest, though. It's a non-elimination round.
I'm going Keanu. I'm calling it upset all day long.
Rosie?
I love Keanu on the backhand, but I think Adriano is...
Wow.
I might have to go ADS.
Big one
Come on,
there.
Joe, you got this.
Rosie's moving into Namotu.
I
going
like to keep it- I
going
like to
on
keep
with
it fair.
with Ross there. I think he's got a good point. If Keanu's going to win, it's going to be on the backhand in these conditions.
Joe's good at this
Okay.
game
Tabby.
too, so...
All right, I think we just saw our first bit of bias, but let's roll on. The next heat is a big one. This is a great heat. 2 pretty evenly matched surfers, Ross. Josh Kerr is going to be up against Jeremy Flores. For me, Josh Kerr is a man on fire. Look at the head here. It's changed up a bit since then. In fact, both these surfers are rocking the Taj Burrow hairdo. But these guys have had 4 matchups in the past, head-to-head. Josh has won every single one of them, and I think that's the way it's going to stay. His tube riding, impeccable, and I think this is going to be a good year for him with a bit of swell in the lineup.
Speaking of tube riding, my boy just won at Chopes last year. I think in terms of, you could say who's going to win the tube riding contest, a lot of people out there will vote for Jeremy. Not only that, but we all know Jeremy Flores is Mr. Island Vibes. He reminds me of all my favorite Moke friends at home. He's just got the king of the swagger. He is going to eat Josh for breakfast.
All right, well, you got the last word on the last heat, so allow me to fire one back at you here. This is
Time's
the
up.
craftiest competitor, I think, staying on Namotu. He's won every game of ping pong he's played. Yesterday he stood up on a kiteboard for the first time, did a backflip at the back of Namotu. He's going to take Jeremy down.
Not sure
It's
the
on.
flips are going to
Okay.
help the 8-foot cloud break.
That was good. Time's up. Rosie?
I like Josh because he's got an awesome daughter, but I think Jeremy Flores, he's pretty unbeatable in these island vibes. And, I mean, Ross just called him a moke.
He's on. Potts?
Jeremy Flores.
I think we're going to go with
Sorry,
Jeremy
Josh,
once
I love
again.
you, Josh, but
You
I'm
dogs.
going-
Moving on to the next
Except
one.
Rosie. Sorry, Rosie. All right, moving right along. This is the heat of the round. Everyone's been talking about it. We've been building it up in a big way. I love this heat for a lot of reasons. It's going to give Taj the opportunity to take on one of the next generation superstars. Taj looks so sharp on the backhand. For sure, he started the year in pretty poor form, but he's starting to click. I love the fact that Taj is taking a huge mental advantage into this heat, because even people in John John's camp seem to be rooting for Taj. B. Durbridge came back from Namotu with the Taj Burrow Mohawk, as did John John's filmer Eric. I think we've got our decision there.
Oh, okay. Well, here's the thing for Taj Burrow. Obviously, everyone wants to see him go out with a bang, swan song for sure. But John John is way too focused, and if we can go for that kind of cheesy cliche where talent works hard, Mr. Talent, he's working hard. He's up every morning at like 5 in the morning with your boy Bede, training hard, staying laser sharp focused, arguably the most focused out of the whole field. It's a no-brainer for John John.
Taj Burrow's been the hardest working person here in the islands. Celebrating, getting up, still surfing,
So getting
putting his
the
mind on the game. he's going to get the fairy tale finish.
Okay.
He might just go all the way.
Well done. Quickly, we'll get the votes from the panel. Potts, starting with
Ross, no-brainer. John.
you. Rosie?
Taj won Bali with the same kind of combination of having
girl.
fun and surfing, but my heart belongs to John.
Yes, Rosie, I love it.
Wow.
I
What's
think once again, Tabby.
what's Bulky going to say
John
about
John
that?
taking the win. Let's move on to the next one, boys. Well done.
I am struggling here. Okay.
It's over.
Ace Buchan and Miguel Pupo. Okay, I'm pretty confident on this one. Okay, both these guys are pretty similar. They're both stylish. They both are sharp on the open face. They've both got horrible results here in Fiji from a couple of previous efforts, so they're pretty evenly matched. When the size gets a little bit bigger, Ace is going to match Miguel in the tube, and when he gets out on the open face, he's going to lay deeper turns into the wall, and he's going to get the jump from the judges.
Well, I definitely agree with you. This is the most even matchup I think we have out of all the matches we have this morning. But as much as I love Ace's chances with how sharp he is, he's got a great track record in hollow surf. Miguel, the most buttery smooth style on tour, and secretly all the chicks love Miguel. I think he's just going to pull that special power in and take this heat out.
Here we go. Quick to the panel. All goofy matchup. Rosie, starting with you.
This is like choosing someone's favorite daughter, Ronnie or Ross, and I feel like, wow, I think the way that Ace was surfing the other day, I'm going to have to say Ace, but I would like to see Miguel get a great result.
Well done, Potts.
I think it's probably, as the boys said, probably one of the hardest matchups to work out, but it's a flip the coin on that one. I can't decide.
Can't decide there. We're going to go
No,
with Ace
Potts,
Buchan
you
on that
gotta
one.
decide.
Well done,
Miguel
Ronnie. You got
Pupo.
one on the board. All right.
Wow.
Well done.
Finally, I wondered if you guys had come around. Okay, last heat, and this is a big one for Matt Wilkins. It seemed like the stress is on Wilco every time he paddles out at the moment, but I really like the way he dealt with his round 2 heat. Hasn't been past the 3rd round in this event, nor is Alejo, though. It's much like the last battle, and I just liked how sharp Matty Wilco looked once he got out on the open face. We hadn't seen much of his forehand this year, and it really impressed me.
Wilco's been shredding. I'm not going to deny you there. But here's the cool thing about this matchup. Alejo's going to do to Wilco what Wilco's been doing to everyone in the first 2 events. He's going to get his backhand groove on. He threw so much buckets in that first round matchup that he took out. So I think Alejo's going to get this one.
Quick one to the panel to make the decision. Starting with you, Rosie.
I think Maddie's been training every day. I've seen footage of him really putting in the hard yards. He's hungry. I'm going to go Maddie.
Here we go. What do you think, Potts?
I think I'm with Ross on this one. Backhand all day long at Cloudbreak. I think Alejo Muniz is looking really sharp. Matty Wilco's got his hands full right there.
Alejo Muniz looking really sharp. Even as a wild card last year, he put up some big numbers as well. And I think the key thing that we're alluding to here, Ronnie, we really miss you on Tavarua. Hopefully you come back soon.
I don't know if I'll be welcome back after some talk, but Matt Wilkinson, I think that's a pretty a solid pick. It's been talked about a little bit. Rosie mentioned it. Hardest training surfer on Namotu. He's honestly been really digging in and avoiding some of the celebrations earlier in the week. But that's all we got for the debate. Thanks for tuning in, and after the break we'll get an update on what's happening in the lineup with our boy Strata-Wasilewski.
When I push it up, you push it down. When I light it up, you light it out. When I make it fly, you shoot it down. And I said, please, please, can you cut it out? You got me rolling, baby. Yeah, you got me tumbling around. 'Cause you're the only one, baby, that keeps me hanging around and around and around. I'm your friend. I'm
Welcome back to Dawn Patrol, everybody out here in the lineup in Fiji. Cloud break, having a little breather, but definitely some great waves out here. John, the only pro in the lineup, getting his warm-up on. Interestingly enough, out here with Bede, getting everything he needs. He's just kind of tapping in. So we're going to get back to the desk with the boys. And Potts, are you still on the fence about that heat?
No, Strider, I was never on the fence. I think John all the way, mate.
What an exciting matchup. Enjoy the morning out in the lineup there, Strider. It's fantastic. We're going to leave you with this day, but we'll be back down tomorrow morning for Dawn Patrol at 7:30. Enjoy worldsurfteam.com. We'll see you then. This copyrighted event broadcast is produced by the World Surf League for broadcast around the world and may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the written consent of the World Surf League.